Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk today about traitor Kim Philby. He was a British intelligence agent, but he was really working for the Soviets, and he was born in 1912. He was born in India when India was under British control, and he passed away in 1988 at the age of 76. And when he defected to Moscow in 1963, defected to the Soviet Union, he left behind 5 children. Okay, he had a British wife named Eileen, and he had his 5 children with her. And when he left them behind, his wife had died of a respiratory infection, severe respiratory infection. So Philby attended Cambridge University, that's about 60 miles from London, and he fell under the spell of the influence of an economics professor named Arnold Deutsch. Well, Arnold Deutsch was on the payroll of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union and the KGB paid him, and he largely influenced Philby's decision to adopt communism as his ideology and as his way of life. And Philby was also sexually immoral, and when he visited Austria, in Austria, communism was considered, if you were a communist, you were allowed to be sexually free. You were allowed to express your sexuality freely. And Philby liked that. And there were 4 other British intelligence agents that spied for the Soviet Union, along with Philby, and 2 of them were, Philby was heterosexual, but 2 of them were homosexual, and then 1 was bisexual. But the Soviets oppressed gay people, and they threw them in concentration camps. This was just done as a ploy to try to get anybody, for the Soviets to get anybody they could to spy for them. It wasn't true at all. Anyways, I get back to Kim Philby. Kim Philby, he started working for the Soviets in World War II. Even though the UK and the Soviets were allies in World War II, they didn't completely trust one another. And Kim Philby gave the Soviets all the information of all the UK agents working in Europe. And even though the UK didn't trust the Soviet Union, they were too busy with Nazi Germany. They weren't spying on the Soviet Union. And Kim Philby did tell the Soviet Union that, and the Soviets didn't believe him. But shortly after shortly after World War II, and when the Cold War began, let me rephrase that. When the Cold War began, Kim Philby was head of the anti-Soviet division in the British intelligence. He was head of the anti-Soviet division, but he gave the Soviets good intelligence and he gave the British bad intelligence. And the British were working with some Albanian rebels to overthrow their oppressive communist government. Albania fell under Soviet rule after World War II, and Kim Philby gave that information to the KGB, though, and the Albanian rebels that were paratroopers parachuted into Albania, thinking they were parachuting into a place that was quiet and unguarded, but they fell right into the hands of KGB agents thanks to the traitor Kim Philby. That's the kind of person Philby was. Well, Philby defected, as I told you, he defected to Moscow in 1963, but he died disillusioned with communism. Both the Guardian and the Telegraph reported that. And he took a Russian-Polish wife. She was part Russian, part Polish. And she had said and testified that he had become disillusioned with communism, that he at one point became an alcoholic, that he attempted suicide. Eventually, for his wife's sake, he quit drinking. But he still missed England, because usually like at 7 a.m. every day he drank Russian tea, but then at 5 p.m. he would drink British tea or English tea. But yeah, I mean, even the head of the KGB, Oleg Kalugin, he had testified when he first met Kim Philby that Kim Philby was reeking of vodka. That he was shocked when he first met Kim Philby. He walked into a room and the room just smelled like vodka, like that smell would knock you down. Kim Philby hated seeing all the poor people that he saw in the Soviet Union. It wasn't the utopia that he saw. The old people in the Soviet Union lived an extremely hard and bad life, and he notes that, and he hated that. And Tommy was one of his sons, and Tommy was able to visit his father in exile a few times, and Tommy had said that, and Kim Philby was able to write him, and Kim Philby had wrote that he had regretted, he didn't enjoy Moscow. He said, I enjoy my whiskey, but I don't enjoy Moscow. So, that's the stuff Kim Philby, that's the stuff Kim Philby did. That's Kim Philby for you. Anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Take care. God bless them. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.